Welcome to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law. We will help you if you're injured in an accident, if anything happens where you need help in a criminal case, give us a call. We've been here since 1971, and we have an outstanding team. We're very proud of the client service that we provide. We know that the client experience at Meldon Law is second to none. We have a great show today. Former Gator great basketball star Dan Cross is here as our guest, and we're very excited to welcome Dan. I can tell you that I've met Dan and his daughter Rachel, who's in law school now, before, and I think that you're going to be very interested in what he has to say, not only about the past, but currently what he's doing as far as helping children become great students and productive members of our society. A couple things going on. Lake City, December 7th, we're having a party. That's Pearl Harbor Day. Prohibition, a great little club in Lake City, from 5:30 till 9. Meldon Law is hosting our annual Community Appreciation Holiday Party. Come and celebrate. We got live music with Josh Nettles, who's terrific, and open bar, delicious food. Lake City has really been fun for us. We opened our office there about 2 years ago, and Marcia has been doing a great job running our office there, and it's really kind of neat. I've been practicing law in Lake City, Columbia County, and Live Oak, and at Jasper for 50 years, and we finally got a full-time office there. So anybody in Lake City, please come and visit. You're invited. We got some great ticket giveaways on Meldon Law Facebook page. Just go to your Facebook app, put in Meldon Law, and we're giving away tickets for all the basketball games. For those of you that haven't seen the Gator basketball team yet, they're exceptional, and it's going to be a really good year. Kentucky is coming here right in the beginning of January, the first time this has happened in a long, long time. We got a big game Saturday, January 6th at 12:30 in the afternoon, and we are going to put together some great packages because it's Meldon Law Day at the O-Dome. So check out the Kentucky Wildcats. It's always a packed crowd, very exciting. A little earlier than normal. Usually the game starts late, but I'm sure this game will be featured on TV right after the Saturday, right after New Year's. A couple other things. We just got in a brand new revised edition of Buying Florida Auto Insurance. And why is this important? It's important because Florida is the only state where the other person does not have to have mandatory bodily injury liability insurance that protects you if someone else causes a crash and you're injured and you have to pay your bills for your hospital your loss of income, you're dealing with pain and suffering. It may totally change your life. We have a lot of very, very serious cases that we have handled and are currently working on, where the tragedy is absolutely life-changing. And our job is to help people put their lives together after a serious crash. So give us a call and get your copy. It's free. Buying Florida Auto Insurance, a 3-step approach to getting the lowest rates for the insurance that you need. And what you need is uninsured motorist coverage. I've said it many times. Uninsured motorist coverage is absolutely necessary in the state of Florida because most of the people driving on the road today either have zero insurance, which is legal. Zero bodily injury liability insurance is legal in the state of Florida. And you also need to have collision coverage if you have a car, gap insurance, a lot of different things that folks may not be aware of because if you're injured in a crash, you can have bills that are not paid for by the person at fault. That sucks. So we don't want that happening to anybody. And also, in the event that you cause a crash, you want to make sure you have adequate insurance so people don't go after all of your hard-earned savings and assets. So there's a lot of things going on in the state of Florida that don't occur in other states. So anybody listening to this that needs help, please order our book, Buying Florida Auto Insurance. Give us a call. We'll send it to you for free, 352-373-8000, or go to our website, meldonlaw.com, and you can get it free that way. In fact, we even have a PDF version you can download instantly on our website. So we're trying to help the community through providing community pamphlets and books that tell you how to protect yourself and your family and why it's important. So give us a call anytime. We're getting ready to go to a break here on Meldon Law and Friends, and we're going to be back with basketball Gator great Dan Cross in just a minute. Thank you very much.
Jeffrey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm joining the band, of course. Since Meldon Law is the official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, I want to help.
Dad, we're litigators. Let's stick to helping people in the courtroom.
Well, can we still hang out and jam a little bit? At Meldon Law, we won't back down.
I was going down a one-way street and a girl that was driving her car T-boned me on my scooter. I ended up going for an MRI and discovering that I had 2 herniated discs. Coming to Cary allowed me to not have to worry about what doctor I was going to see or what physical therapist I had to go to. They say, these are the people we trust. You're going to have a great experience there, and I honestly did each time.
Call Meldon Law. Your consultation is absolutely free.
I was driving behind a lady, and very suddenly she moved out of the way. There was a log laying in the road, and when I hit my brakes, I went on top of the log. I had 2 herniated discs. I just haven't been the same since. Jeffrey Meldon fought for me all the way. Him and his team really went there for me. Throughout the whole lawsuit, he made sure that my bills was paid. It was never no whenever I called him and asked him for something.
Call Meldon Law right now.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Call Meldon Law right now.
Hey, Sammy, look who's there. Say hi.
Hey!
You again!
Meldon Law, Jeffrey speaking.
Jeffrey!
Somebody else hit us here.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. I'm Jeffrey Meldon, founder and attorney at Meldon Law, and it's our great privilege today to welcome a good friend of mine, Dan Cross. How you doing today, Dan?
Doing well in yourself, Jeffrey.
Yeah. So, for those of us that have been around, we know that you were a basketball star back in the '90s with the Gators. We're going to talk a little bit about Dan's background and history first. So you came to the University of Florida at what year?
1991 is when I arrived on campus from Carbondale, Illinois.
Okay.
Yes.
And what brought you to the University of Florida?
Well, two things. Coach Robert McCullum, who recruited me out of Illinois to play at University of Florida. But my recruiting trip, I think any former player that has attended University of Florida and has had their recruiting trip from the Midwest, it was cold in December, and I had never been outside of the state for the most part, and I could not understand how it was warm in Florida and cold back at home. And I asked Coach, I said, is it like this year round? I had never seen palm trees before. And once he said yes, I said, you know what, I really have to consider. Girls walking around in shorts in December, and it was a different environment, and I from that sealed the deal.
Well, my story is kind of the same. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally. Okay.
Nice.
So
You understand.
I understand. I mean, it's like freeze your butt off for 5 months of the year, or come down in a nice climate and have a good time. You know, what really happened was after air conditioning became really popular after World War II, during the summers, people could live in Florida year-round more easily.
Okay.
So, because I remember, that it got really, really hot, and it's not easy to be in Florida when it's 95 degrees in the summer.
No.
So you come down. Was Lon Kruger the coach at the time?
Yeah, Lon had just got here in 1990, I believe. So I was his second-year recruit coming in to University of Florida. So. He was another reason why I wanted to learn, from the best, just pertaining to the X and O's of the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, Lon Kruger stayed relevant for, the last 30-some years.
Yes.
He was at University of Florida. He coached out west. He's a pro coach. Lon is really a very nice guy, besides being a really excellent basketball coach. Mm-hmm. He proved that. So you guys come in. Who was in your recruiting class?
So Andrew the clerk, we call him the Hammer, 6'10" kid out of Clearwater, Florida. was in my class, also my roommate. There's this 6'10".
Oh, you knew? So I've been at Andrew's house in Clearwater.
Yes. Okay.
Let's see, his wife was at Lisa, I forget.
Yes.
And so I was
Tina.
dating a girl about 20 years ago who was best friends with his wife, and we went to visit Andrew, and I got to know Drew, a little bit. But I'll tell you, we were on vacation, and he would go into the gym, which is kind of it was like a garage area, and he worked his butt off.
Yes.
At this time, I think he was playing with the Orlando Magic.
It could have been, yeah.
Okay, in the early 2000s or something like that.
Very hard worker.
So you got the clerk.
The clerk, Svein Durkelboden, who is a well-known name around Gainesville.
I got to plug Spurrier's. That's a good.
Okay.
So Svein Durkelboden, we're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Svein is part of the team here that developed this whole celebration point, which is awesome.
Shout out Svein.
And I've gotten to know Svein pretty well because we come out here a lot and go to the restaurants and have a good time. And he is really an incredible, person as far as you were dealing with some serious people here.
For sure.
Right?
That are still now my closest of friends. 30 years later. So, just very, very honored, and to have friends like that for so long. So we start out as teammates, and we have a chance to experience the highs and lows of Florida basketball, and made some dreams come true.
Who else was on that team?
Andrew, Swain. We had a very small class. Clayton Bates, who was a Gainesville native, as well. Those were the three.
Who else was on the team that weren't in your class?
So we had Brian Thompson out of Atlanta, Georgia. Dimitri Hill, they call him the Meat Hook.
Meat Hook. He was he was almost 300 pounds.
Actually, he was over 300 pounds. So, some funny stories about him. So, Hook was with us. Jason Anderson out of Atlanta, Georgia. Craig Brown, who was my backcourt out of Stilton, Pennsylvania. John Griffith out of Atlanta, Georgia. Tony Mickens from Memphis, Tennessee. So Dan Williams, whose uncle is Tom Williams, who's the academic advisor here at Florida. We call him Squirt. So, he's a native now, local native working with Under Armour here in Gainesville. So, we had a nice Tiny Williams, Greg Williams out of D.C. So we had a nice group of guys that, allowed us to attend the Final Four.
So, what was Lon Kruger's coaching style like compared to other coaches you've worked with?
Well, Lon he's an X and O guy. His style really did not fit my style of basketball coming out of Illinois. But what I learned from Lon is how to dissect the game as a point guard. Learning from another point guard who has a great genius mind. So, in learning how to study the game and then play my style of game, it took me about 2 years to understand that system. But once I understood that system, then the game slowed down tremendously for me, and we were able to do some really cool things here at University of Florida.
Yeah, so by way of background, I had been, a basketball fan here for a long time, and I was here during the 80s when we started. We had some runs back in the 80s, and then there's this transition, and it was really kind of different, and all of a sudden, like lightning hit in 1994.
Yeah.
How did that? Tell us what your memories are of how the team emerged and developed.
Yeah, it was a slow process. There was a motto called "Find a Way," and it's a motto that I live by till today, currently, and finding a way to win, finding a way to work hard. Finding a way to work with a team that that is very diverse. I forgot Marty Kwiesma from Finland, so it is extremely diverse in where we all come from. Personalities, I have a very strong personality. So it just so happened that there was a group of guys who lived in the same dorm room in Yon Hall in the football stadium. And we were able to wake up, work hard, work out each morning, go to class with each morning. And this was an opportunity in a season where everything just clicked. It clicked, and out of adversity, the prior 2 years of me being at University of Florida, where I didn't know if I even wanted to stay at University of Florida anymore. So it allowed that particular year of '94 just allowed some us to play against some great competition from you name it, Shaquille O'Neal to I can name.
I remember. So I went to LSU.
Yes.
And saw Shaq play against the Gators. I think we got our butts kicked.
Yeah, I could have.
Well, we were there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I remember that Shaq was he was this really dominant kind of player for, he was dominant in the pros. You can imagine what it was like in college. Right. So anyhow, during the regular season, how did the team do?
We did really well. That particular year, we lost no home games. And so we went from my experience, my freshman year, of maybe having 3,000 fans, Jeff. 3,000 fans in O'Connell Center, to see that continue to grow, right? So this is how I know we were kind of grandfathered into University of Florida. So I've seen it all. I've seen the 3,000 fans to now a regular season game where every game is sold out at 12,000 fans. So, we have to put on a show, and that was, our inspiration of making sure that if fans are coming from at this point all over the country to see the University of Florida Gators play, we want to make sure we put on a show, and that allowed us to win some very tough and close games and go undefeated that year. So it was a really good regular season for us.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Final Four. Let's talk about that. So you're going up to Charlotte.
Yes.
And I was friends with some tennis stars from the University of Florida. We had really good tennis teams, right? Andy Brandy was here for the women's team.
Yeah.
Ian Duveneg was the men's coach, and my son was a tennis star. He played collegiately at William and Mary.
Okay.
So anyhow, so we found it was hard getting rooms in Charlotte because the Final Four is like competitive and everybody shows up because it's hard to get into the Final Four.
For sure.
We go up there, and I remember I was just wild. What was it like for you going to the Final Four?
Dream come true. As a kid, I think every child that plays basketball, lays in her bed, his bed, and thinks about the ultimate experience of reaching the highest level of collegiate sports, which is the Final Four, where there are no other teams in the country that are playing but four random teams that most scouts have not chosen to be in the Final Four. And University of Florida, we just happen to be one of those teams with a spotlight on us. It's an unbelievable experience, an experience that I really can't explain other than it was just a dream come true. To play against, we played against Duke and Grant Hill. Arkansas was another SEC team that was there, so that was really the matchup that we were all looking forward to with Corliss Williamson and Scotty Thurman. But I'll just say we gave Duke a run for their money. It's a game that we probably should have won to get to the championship game.
I was there. So I get in there. I'm in the elevator. I see Nolan Richardson, who was the Arkansas coach there, and I knew who he was right away.
Sure.
Hi, Coach, how you doing, and stuff like that. And the atmosphere was electric. I'm with my son, and we had some decent seats in the lower section in the end court.
Nice.
And you guys are playing Duke, and you are playing lights out.
We were. Yes.
I mean, this is a national championship team that had won two back-to-back national championships.
Close to it, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Into the Final Fours, yeah.
Yeah, and so anyhow, what's going through your mind? You were up double digits at one point, I think.
If you must remind me, Jeff, yes, I believe we were up double digits. Yes, I am reminded of that quite often. That slowly... that lead slowly left us going into the second half. It's the game of trade-offs, and we weren't able to pull it out. But I will say this: the SEC prepared us for the Final Four, so there was no intimidation.
Oh, right. You had Arkansas, you had LSU, you had Kentucky.
Tennessee, Alabama, you name it, Georgia. So there were already 5 or 6 teams that are already in the top 25.
So you guys were playing top competition, and you went undefeated at home.
Yes.
So you were, and the SEC basketball really came around, I think, during that decade.
It sure did.
Before that, SEC was football,
Correct.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got 2 of the 4 teams in the Final Four, and it was really incredible. I don't know. I have been to all 5 of the Gators Final Fours, and all 4 of the football team's national championship games.
Nice.
Right, something that I'm very proud of,
as you should be,
and that. I have stories about each one, but the 94 was the first one,
Yes.
right? And it was the next year, 95, we were out in Arizona, and we got our butts kicked by Nebraska. Then we came back and won the national championship in New Orleans against a Florida State team that had beaten us a month before.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really kicked off the what I would call the Gator dynasty.
Yes.
Steve Spurrier. We're here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I want to give him a plug.
Shout
this
out,
is
Steve.
an incredible. So this is a pretty cool place, right?
Beautiful. Well designed by Freddie Weeby and Steve Spurrier and Svain and that crew, who are all good friends of mine. Steve was kind of that's who we all looked up to. Steve, he's gonna say what was on his mind. Was I related to quite well. I got in trouble for it a lot of times, but we knew that he set the bar for the entire university. So there was a inside competition between our football players and the basketball players because they were on TV all the time, every Saturday on ESPN. So and then we're working out with each other in the morning time, and we stadium stairs. So. The goal was like, man, whatever exposure that this football team is getting, we want some of that same exposure, and Steve, and so that was a competition within just the athletic departments that allowed us to continue to grow, and look how a first-class organization and program should be run, how we should train, the mentality of being a winner, all that came from Steve. And so as he handed that down, and that spirit and mentality, that said a lot for us going to the Final Four, and we wanted to represent the university in that manner and style.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a great run,
Yes.
And you have nothing to apologize for. But you got to the Final Four. You were the first of 5 basketball teams that got there.
Yes,
and
have to be remembered.
Yeah, no, it for me, that's when. I really started to get excited because I could go out of town to a big time event.
Yes.
It was like,
Yes.
Final Four. And then the next year, we're in the football
National championship,
championship.
yes.
And then 96 we win. And then
Yes.
2000 we go to Indianapolis in
Yes.
basketball with
Yeah.
Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
And then, it's like all of that was preparation, I think, for Titletown from 2006 until 2008.
Agreed. And I think that's where the most pride comes in for this particular 94 Final Four team, because we were the first to do it. Nobody else can ever say that. So, I take a lot of pride in, us kind of being the grandfathers of how University of Florida really got started. With the highest level of competition, and championships being at least put on banners. So, very well deserved.
Well, do you think the basketball team's going to get back to that level?
I think soon. I think what Todd is doing, who I've gotten to know over the past couple of years, with what he has out on the court right now, it shows good signs of potential, which is what the Gator fans are wanting in all sports, is to make sure that we're recruiting the right players, the right systems are in place to give us the best chance to compete against the Tennessees, the Kentuckys of the world, the Alabamas of the world. As long as we have a chance to compete in all sports and in any level, I like our chances of winning.
Yeah, well, I've gotten to know Todd as well, and I was really excited to see the talent that he was able to assemble from last year. He came in, he put together some players, and when Castleton went down, that kind of ended the season, and then boom, he comes back. We got 7'1" Hand Lofton, we got 6'11" and 6'10", and all of a sudden we go from a team that was, except for Castleton, had no height, to a team where we're getting 10 more rebounds per game than the other team.
Yes. And I think the most important thing is some identity is being formed. And that's what you want to see within a program is like there has to be identity, there has to be accountability also, and you must be able to compete. So those things, at least in these first 4 or 5 games, they've proven, which is now going or should attract other high talent, whether it's through the transfer portal or 4 to 5 star players to come into University of Florida and build that program back up. So excited about what I've seen thus far.
I really believe that if given the chance, Todd Golden will rebuild the basketball program. He seems to have, because he played international ball, he understands recruiting international players, right? Sure. Which is something that, if some kid happened to, want to come here, great, we have an interest. But really, he's, I think, used it as a building block for his program.
Yeah, it's definitely a recruiting tool. I know he spent some time. I lived in Israel, and I know he played on a team in Israel called Maccabi Tel Aviv, which is the top European program or considered a European program, just in Europe. So the level of talent that he's used to seeing at the Euro League level, he should also be able to attract and get on top of players here from America.
Yeah, so the European players, they'd love to play in the NBA.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And what better entree to come to the United States where you're going to be playing with a good program, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be seen by the NBA scouts.
Yes, great brand.
And so I think that Todd has tapped into that, and he's also tapped into the transfer portal, at least for now.
For sure.
What are your thoughts about how, the landscape has changed, NIL, transfer portal, all these moving parts where even after you've signed a player, you got to keep recruiting him for 4 years?
You sure do. You sure do.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great for the student athlete. It's great for college basketball. It's something new. It's something exciting. And it makes everybody work for their job and their position. Nothing is guaranteed, so they're almost like these college students, athletes are like free agents every year. Like you have to sign them again. You have to renew their scholarships again. They can make more money somewhere else. And so the bad part about that is it's hard to build relationships and a following because, this may be my favorite player at University of Florida now, and he may be somewhere else the next year. So that's the only down part to the transfer portal, but it heightens the level of competition, right? So at this point, anybody can win, not just the Dukes of the world and the Kentuckys of the world. Like it evens out the playing field. So that's what makes college basketball a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, and the small schools, because you only need 6 or 7 or 8 really good players.
That's it, Jeff.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And so your small schools that can't really compete in big time football. That's why you see them in college basketball, because you don't need 80 players on the team. You give me 2 or 3 stars and 4 or 5 good, solid backups, role players, and you got yourself a ball club. Well, talking about creating team culture, things like that. I know that you're involved in some educational ventures, and I'd like you to talk a little bit about Life Skills Education, which is a software and technology company.
Yes. So I created, about 6 years ago, founded a company called Cross Academy LMS, which focuses on life skills education. And that just came from my experiences of not being taught what I needed to be taught after school. And so from financial literacy, which really is not taught in school, and public school nor private school, at the middle school, high school, or collegiate level. Career assessments. I didn't know what career I wanted to go into after basketball. So I became frustrated about the lack of education that I received. And the education that I studied had nothing to do with life after sports. So I wanted to put together a curriculum or develop a curriculum that taught our students, not just student athletes, but students, these core principles of education that he or she is going to need after they graduate. So it first started out as a workbook curriculum, and we were selling that and licensing that to University of Florida and other universities. And then got away from that for a minute because I was tired of selling workbooks, and COVID hit, and that gave us the opportunity to build technology and online learning. And so we're now licensing out our online learning platforms to private school institutions and juvenile justice institutions. And so we're really happy about, the growth in that. And it gives me joy because now I'm able to educate outside of the traditional education or core education, which is the math, the English, the sciences. Like X squared plus Y squared never equaled $1 in my life. It never helped me to pay a bill in my life. So if I wasn't going to be an engineer, why am I learning this particular math? I need to know addition, subtraction, how to divide money, how to multiply money, and make money work for me. So
what age groups does your program target?
Right now, we're at the high school and collegiate level. We're targeting those levels from the online curriculum standpoint. From an after-school standpoint and services, we target middle school and high school to provide after-school life skill programs for after-school centers throughout the state of Florida. So just really excited about the growth. We also added a life skills summer camp, just a 4-day camp, because I've been teaching basketball camps for the last 20 years. So it's the same model, but now I just bring in a lot of resources, a lot of facilitators that are experts in their career fields to now expose different careers to our youth.
Now, you integrate it with the basketball program?
I do not, but I've used that model to now create a new model for camps and for after-school programs. It's all structure, right? Kids need structure. I need structure. We all need structure. So we've just developed a format of structure and a fun way to learn, right? And you want to, I never liked school because it was never fun to learn. The teachers were never fun I don't remember any of my teachers because it just wasn't fun to learn. But the things that I was interested in, I was a straight A student. So in taking that mindset and trying to find different ways to make learning fun, that is the goal for why Life Skills Academy has given this platform at this particular level.
I think it's so important because I get concerned when I see people focusing in on, if I'm good enough, I'm going to get into this college. And then if I'm going to get in this college, then I'm going to be able to go to the pros.
Yes.
Well, everybody knows your pro career, you're a pretty young person by the time your pro career is done.
Yes, for sure.
So
25, 26.
Yeah, and right, it's like only 0.1% ever have a successful pro career where they're become independently wealthy. I mean, there's only a few people out there that you see able to really bring in the big bucks. Yes. And I think in some ways those stories get publicized and people think, oh, well, I'm really good. And you're in high school, right? And you think, oh, yeah, I'm going to be able to do that. And the idea, what you're talking about is preparing them for life after sports.
Yes, correct.
And I think, it's very, very important, particularly for those kids that are just relying on sports to carry them for the rest of their lives, to be able to learn that earlier rather than later.
It is, but unfortunately, the business that we're in at the collegiate level is business driven. It is money driven. Kids come to University of Florida and other top programs for one reason, and you would like to say it's education, But everyone knows that once that All-American steps on the court or steps on the field, the coach is hired, they must win.
Right.
They must win.
Yeah.
And if they don't win, then the plan B is really not the focus, right? The plan A is you're here for one reason. So in understanding that mentality, everyone is pro-driven. Everyone believes once they have been recruited by University of Florida, University of Alabama, that they have the skill set to go pro.
Right. And the fact is, that's not true, number one.
It's not true.
And number two, even if you go pro, your
not
career may be 1 or 2 or 3 years, because when you watch an NFL game, the skill level there is off the charts, right? And it's like 1 out of 25,000 or something.
Yes.
High school athletes can really have a sustained career in the NFL.
Yes.
So I know you also have a basketball camp.
Yes.
When do you do that?
Yeah, so I've been running all fundamental basketball camps for the last 20 years. Basketball has been the love of my life. It has been the structure and has given me opportunities, not for just myself, but for my family, for my brothers. All 4 of my brothers play Division I sports. And so we grew up in camps. And so we provide camps here in Gainesville called All Fundamentals Camps in the summertime. And actually, we have one coming up Christmas time. So we've been hosting a Christmas camp at, we're doing it now at St. Patrick's Catholic school, where it just allows, kids are on break. They're needing something to do. Parents are still working. It's a way that I can teach a lot of middle school, elementary kids the fundamentals of basketball. So yes, we do have a camp coming up the 21st and 22nd of December. I'm able to give out toys and bikes and a lot of cool things that the kids have to earn. So it's not given, but it's earned. And then our other summer camps are usually in July, June and July, at Queen of Peace in St. Francis Catholic Academy. So just proud to have the support from the community in Gainesville, and that it keeps me around the game. I've been doing it for so long that when I tailgate, I see kids that are now in college and they say Coach Cross, and I have to look at them twice because now they're all big and grown. But it allows, I'm satisfied with the teaching of the life skills that we provided to kids to give them an opportunity to, to take a discipline and set goals.
So I have allfundamentals.com.
Yes.
Is the basketball program.
Yes.
What's the call to action to the parents and young people listening and watching this?
Parents, if you want to register, especially the new parents that are out there that are listening that want to register, you can go to allfundamentals.com and register your child for the December 21st and 22nd Christmas clinic at St. Patrick's. Boys and girls, elementary and middle school. We teach the fundamentals, and it's just a cool way to spend your Christmas.
And how do they get a hold of life skills courses?
You can go to lifeskillscourses.com. Again, lifeskillscourses.com. You can follow us also on Instagram at lifeskillscourses. And there's opportunities to be a part of our camps, part of our online curriculum as well. So very user-friendly and easy way to sign up for those opportunities. And for the decision makers that are superintendents and teachers at schools that are interested in our platform, we'd love for you to reach out to us on that site.
Yeah, I'm really excited about your life skills program because that one to me is so important in that because kids that are gifted athletically do have the opportunity to go to some really good schools to learn, and if they know ahead of time what their goals are, then those times will be much more productive.
It helps. So we're in an initiative right now trying to get it pushed through some legislative and lobbyists that are getting behind what we're trying to do to push this to the state level so it can now be licensed out to institutions, public and private, throughout the state of Florida. So,
Well, we'll see what we can do
That'd be great.
to help you out on that.
you.
Dan Cross, it's been great having you on Meldon Law and Friends. We're going to have you back again. I feel like we just scratched the surface.
For sure.
However, again, lifeskillscourses.com, and Dan Cross is putting together some really important programs to help develop our young people. He's done a great job with his daughter, Rachel.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
And
my son also, who is
what's your son's name?
my son's name is also Dan Cross.
Okay.
He is a fifth-year senior here at University of Florida on the football team, in his master's program, studying sports management here at the University of Florida. So, very proud of both my son and daughter graduating from the University of Florida.
Well, congratulations. As a dad myself, I know that's the most important thing we can do is inspire our own children to reach high levels.
And thank you for inspiring my daughter to pursue law as well.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah. So Rachel is an amazing young lady. My daughter, I see a lot of, my own daughter and what Rachel does as far as these young girls. All of a sudden, they're like, they're out there doing amazing things, and in a lot of ways, they have more wisdom than we do. So,
For sure.
okay, that's a wrap on Meldon Law and Friends. Thank you, Dan Cross, for joining us, and we look forward to supporting all the programs you're involved with.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, good show, guys.